Hey kiddos, so we are working towards the summative portion for your color unit, and at this point you should have your non-objective design completed. And before you continue on with adding color to this, make sure that you take a quality image of your design. Remember, when you take a quality image, you want to be next to perhaps an unobstructed window so you've got a natural light source, and that when you are positioning your phone, make sure you're directly over it so that you don't get a weird angle on it. And then you want to turn that file in Google Classroom. So formative number 1, we're going to put it off to the side. And we're going to do formative number 2. And you have selected your medium as color pencil. And you have taken a look at the slideshow, and hopefully you've made a selection as to what set of colors you want to use for your formative. There's a slide on the color unit slideshow that's called formative number 2, color scheme and media selection. So if you've chosen color pencils, and next you want to choose your color scheme. There are 4 different choices, and you want to pick out the colors that best match the color scheme. So I have chosen number 3, and the number 3 has red poppies. And so I've got my light blue, my light green, a blue green, a yellow orange, and a red orange. And then in addition to these 5 colors, I am going to choose the white and the black. Now your selection might not be as large, maybe yours is larger. Just choose those that are as close to the color scheme as possible. And then you want to get a sheet of paper, okay? It could be lined paper, it could be blank white copy paper, whatever you have on hand. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a regular number 2 pencil, and I am going to draw a rectangle that is about the width of my finger, and we'll go about the length of my finger as well. And if you want to use a ruler, go for it. If not, you can just freehand it. Okay, rectangle number 1. And then I'm going to do a second rectangle, same size. And in this first rectangle, in the center here, I am going to apply a hue. And another color, or another name for hue, is color. And then going in this direction, I am going to create shades. And shades are achieved when you add black to the hue. And a way for you to remember that is shades has an A, black has an A, and it gets darker. Okay, and darker has an A. You may have just witnessed my kitty. I don't know if she got in the, I guess it's the he. I've got 2 cats. One's a boy, one's a girl. And then on the other side, we're going to do tints. And tints is the opposite. It's when you add white plus the hue, and it makes it lighter. And a way to remember that is they all have the letter I, lighter white tints. Okay? And let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. And then in this rectangle, I am going to choose 2 different hues from my color scheme. And I'm going to start on one end and merge those together so that they're overlapping here in the center. All right, so we're going to be using that cross-hatching method that we used when we did our self-portrait. I'm going to pull out my black and my white. And for this top one, you're just going to select one of your hues. And I'm going to go ahead and give myself like a little sampling. What do these colors actually look like on my paper? Okay. and make sure that they really truly match as best as I can from my color pencils. I'm not scribbling, I'm doing that cross hatching. All right, and they look pretty darn close. I like those. That'll be pretty. All right, so I am going to, for this formative exercise, I am going to use this light blue. And in the center, I'm just going to begin with that diagonal hatch, and then I will do a cross hatch. And at this point, I'm using heavy pressure. And I am going to lean in this direction using less pressure because white is going to go on top of it because I'm creating a tint. And as I get closer to the edge, less pressure. So that on the very tip, it's very light. And then I will do the other diagonal. Okay, remember when you're cross hatching, you pick up single lines. The closer your hatches are, the darker it gets. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. Heavy pressure in the center, medium pressure, and then light. I'm going faster than I would like to. I don't want this video to be too long, so unfortunately I'm trying to rush myself. All right. Now maybe I'll angle it and then I'll do some, get this dark. All right, that looks, we'll look at it from above. All right. Now, if you don't have a white, that's completely and totally fine because this acts as a tint because you're using less pressure and it's getting lighter. If you do have a white, excellent. I'm using heavy pressure here and I am decreasing the pressure as I get closer to the center. And it looks like I haven't done anything. Well, you're gonna get a subtle blend. And it is going to be subtle when we're working with the white, but it will make a difference. You can see it much better in person than you can in this video. Heavy pressure here, and then I'm getting less pressure with the white as I'm going towards the center, okay? And then my black. The black is powerful. So, gonna have heavy pressure on this end, and then less as I go towards the center. Okay. All right, now I've laid that down. Now I'm gonna come back in with that blue and put some of that blue on top of the black. The black can sometimes be harsh, and I wanna soften it with a little bit of blue, kind of blending and layering that on top, especially in this mid-tone area. Okay, so you've created a value scale Goes from shades to tints. This would be like your value 1, value 5, and value 10. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to do something very similar in the bottom rectangle, but instead I'm going to go from one hue to another hue. Okay, so I've got my yellow-orange. Heavy pressure, go into light pressure, and then I'll do some overlapping, some cross-hatching. And I want it to be heavy pressure here and dark, and then fade into, and you want that fade to come, about 75% across. And then I'll come in with my red-orange. Same concept, heavy pressure. I need to pay attention to, they're getting kind of squirrely. All right, and then I'll go in this direction. And I want the red-orange to meet about 75% across. And then there should be a true color change here in the center, where there's equal amounts of my red-orange and equal amounts of my yellow-orange, overlapping and blending. So you might have to play around with both colors until you get that perfect meld. Now we've practiced two different types of transition. The tints to the hue, and then the hue to the shades, and then from one hue to another hue. When you start your summative, you are going to create transitions in each area, okay? I'll talk more about that in the next video when you start your summative. When you are finished with this formative, take a quality photo and then upload that file into Google Classroom. This is a lot of fun, and have a good time with those color pencils.